What is up, heroes? This is Midnight Zero, and welcome to Week 9 of UCL. This week we're going against Bobby, coach of a team I don't know the name of, and looking at his team, at first I wasn't too threatened by it. He's got Victini, Togekiss, Latias, etc., and when I was actually looking at the numbers, his team is really fast and can hit really hard. Togekiss and Latias in particular, outspeeding almost everything on my team, and, dropping Dracos and para-flinching things, and Mega Swampert is bulky, and it hits so many Pokemon on my team super effectively if it's an offensive set, so I was actually kind of worried, and the mindset for this team is bulky. I'm able to take hits and hit back hard, build up passive damage, and then maybe a late game sweep. So, getting into the first Pokemon, we got Salamence, and yes, indeed, Salamence was my very first Pokemon chosen because it hard counters Victini. I take 37% max from a V-Create, Choice Banded Victini, and so I can actually switch into Rocks, and then take a V-Create, and then take another V-Create on the next turn and roost off damage and actually stall it out, and eventually OHKO it with Earthquake, so that's a thing. This Salamence is a bulky monster, and so it's meant to take on a lot of his physical attackers, but dedicated primarily to Victini. With Roost, I can switch in things, take less than 50%, roost off damage, and I will want to play off as being a more defensive Mence, and I really am. If you look at my HP and defense, HP is to optimize Stealth Rock and Leftovers, minimize Stealth Rock damage while optimizing Leftovers recovery, and the speed is so I outspeed Mega Swampert, so I can actually roost on his Ice Punches, and Ice Punches will do less than 40% to me, so yeah, that's the thing. Salamence is going to be really important this game. Potentially late game too, if I intimidate something and force a switch out because it can't really damage me, I can just Dragon Dance up, and after +1 I outspeed everything on his team, including Jolteon, which is 394. Oh, I don't outspeed Excelgor, but I don't expect Excelgor, or at least for it to be around that long. And it really isn't a threat even if it is still living. And Dragon Claw or Earthquake at +1 does minimum of like 80-85% to everything on his team, so late game it could work out for a sweep. Moving on to Zapdos, Thunderbolt, Toxic Roost, Defog, and Leftovers, a bulky specially defensive set. It's there to pretty much counter Togekiss. Togekiss cannot beat Zapdos, especially with pressure. I can make it run out of Air Slashes or Roosts. And Thunderbolt does around 40 to 50 to 60%, I think. Toxic, if he wants to run Heal Bell, if he wants to flinch me, I can Toxic Force into Heal Bell, and then on the Heal Bell Thunderbolt. If he wants to Roost, I can Toxic him then, and then so forth. This is a hard counter to Togekiss. It can help out with Latias and his other special attackers, but I really need to keep this alive to counter Togekiss if he brings it. Defog will be helpful for Rocks. I don't want my Pokemon taking Stealth Rock damage. You can see I have Heatran, you can see I have Salamence and Zapdos, and they take a lot of damage from Stealth Rock. So, yeah, if I force switches, Toxic is going to be really helpful for building up passive damage. I really only need 20% on just about every Pokemon, and then between Salamence and Liepard, I can sweep the rest of the team, so yeah, that's why Zapdos is important. Speed is so that I just barely outspeed, what's it called? I outspeed Rampardos, which is really nice, but I outspeed an Adamant Swampert. So if he's an Adamant Swampert, I can Roost, stall him with Ice Punches and stuff like that, although it gets kind of messy with Earthquake and all that, but regardless, moving on to Suicune, Scald, Extra Sensory, Calm Mind, and Rest. Now, this is an interesting set because he has two Pokemon that hard counter Suicune, Cacturne and Toxicroak. They both are completely immune to Water-type attacks, and Cacturne is even immune to Psychic-type attacks. So I expect him to bring at least one of them, and I was debating, do I bring a Roar set, do I pack an extra move, do I still use Sleep Talk, or do I use Calm Mind? And what I came down to is, I need Suicune to beat Mega Swampert. Mega Swampert hits every other Pokemon on my team super effectively, or if it doesn't hit super effectively, it's just a really weak mon and it'll die anyways. So, Mega Swampert is hard countered by Suicune, especially if I get a burn with Scald. I can go for Scald burns early on in the game, which will help all my other Pokemon set up later on. And if he wants to bring in Toxicroak on a Scald, Extra Sensory does a minimum of 96% unboosted, so that'll be really nice. After a Calm Mind or two, I actually outstall Life Orb Latias's Thunderbolt, so that'll also be really helpful. One problem with this set is Rest and no Sleep Talk. So while I am resting, I am super vulnerable. So I will expect him to take advantage of that, maybe with Toxicroak and set up Swords Dances, etc. I do have Liepard to help deal with that later on, though, so not too worried about it. But yeah, I definitely need Suicune for Mega Swampert, and it can help out with Victini as well, but Suicune doesn't take Bold Strikes very well. He also, from scouting, he loves to run Victini with White Herb. He's only brought Victini with White Herb. He runs Togekiss with Leftovers, Latias. He's run Life Orb 5 times, and I think Assault Vest twice. Mega Swampert is usually bulky Mega Swampert. Sometimes it's offensive. Donphan can be either Life Orb or Leftovers. Toxicroak, he's brought Balloon once, so I am ready for that. But the other time, he's brought something else I didn't see what the item was. He's brought Excelgor only once. He's brought Jolteon only once. He's never brought Chinchino. He's brought Mismagius twice, once with the Violet and once the Taunt or Stallbreaker set with Culverberry. He's brought Kling once. I'm not too worried about that. He's brought Cacturne and Glaceon once, but I didn't get to see anything they did because they died. Never brought Rampardos, and he loves to bring Choice Scarf Slacking. Loves to bring with Retaliate, Night Slash, and Earthquake, so I am prepared for that too, and Suicune will be very helpful with that. Moving on to the next Pokemon, Heatran. It's Leftovers, Lava Plume, Flash Cannon, Toxic, and Stealth Rock. So Stealth Rock is going to be really important for wearing down his Pokemon over time. Toxic on switch-ins, but also, primarily for Latias, to be honest, because Burns won't be too helpful. Flash Cannon and Lava Plume do at least 50% to everything that Heatran will try to 2-hit KO, and if it doesn't 2-hit KO the Mon, it's a Mon I'm not going to want to stay in on with Heatran anyway. So yeah, Heatran putting in work. The special attack, I forget the exact investment, but it is so that I 2-hit KO everything that I plan on staying in on. And the speed is so that I outspeed Mega Swampert and could maybe get a Suicide Toxic off, or maybe a Lava Plume burn chance if absolutely necessary, and the rest goes into HP for bulk. And it is a Leftovers number, so yep, that's a thing. Jirachi, Leftovers, you'll notice that's a theme. Running bulky, like I said. I've got Wish and Protect so that I can help heal up the rest of my Pokemon. Heatran doesn't have healing. Suicune might need to be able to take hits to burn off sleep turns. And Salamence and Zapdos might need some healing too. So yeah, Wish, Protect, Jirachi. Protect also allows me to take on Slacking one-on-one, without a doubt. So that'll be really helpful. I also resist hits from Slacking really well. So this is another Slacking counter. Energy Ball, I just barely outspeed Max Speed Mega Swampert, so that I can hit with the Energy Ball, and I think Energy Ball does minimum of 88%. So after he's switched into Stealth Rock twice, I will have a guaranteed OHKO with Energy Ball. Iron Head hits Togekiss hard, and just about anything for a good 20 to 30%. It might be helpful for flinching later on in the game to get Leftovers recovery or something like that. I also plan on potentially PP stalling Togekiss out of Air Slashes or Latias out of Recovers or Roost, because I have 2 Pokemon with Pressure and a Pokemon with Protect, and it might come down to that, sadly. Lastly, we got Nishikinomaki. I was really torn for this slot, but in the end, I went with a Black Glasses more offensive Liepard. I just barely outspeed Mismagius, but I still can't outspeed Latias. That being said, Sucker Punch does a minimum of 86% to Latias, so after switching into Rocks, there's a 90% chance I OHKO it with Sucker Punch. And everything below Liepard's speed tier, Foul Play does more than knock off Wood, so Foul Play 2-hit KOs most things, it OHKOs Victini, it OHKOs Rampardos, and U-Turn does a good amount of damage, will allow me to get switch priority on things he might need to save, or things I outspeed and maybe want to play a little prediction game. And then lastly, Thunder Wave is kind of like a last or worst case scenario I need to slow something down. Maybe Thunder Wave and then Iron Head it with Jirachi. But yeah, I'm actually feeling kind of nervous about this match because I'm relying a lot on bulk and defense. We'll see. The way I win this might be passive damage over time and then late game sweeps with Liepard or Salamence, but again, always going to play it by ear. Things never go as I expect in the plan, so we're just going to do the best we can. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the battle, but until then, this has been Midnight Zero, and this mission is complete.